Hey, everybody, and welcome to Generally Speaking, the podcast that bridges the worlds between pop culture and personal development. I'm your host, Jennifer Snook. I am so happy to be here with you today. I hope everything has been going well in your world. And I mean, let's face it, you guys, we're not even 3 weeks into the new year, and it has been brutal. But before we get into all of that, let's get Christy on the line because there's a lot to talk about. Hello.
Hi, look at you, you little beauty queen.
This is like my blonde. I just put this hat on because I was tidying up the house. And then I wore it for like long enough that I knew I was going to have like a crease in my hair. And I'm like, you dingaling. Because I was planning on doing my hair, which I have not done much of because I've been letting it so recover from the process of making it this light. So I haven't really styled it at all. I've just been wearing it just like naturally and just with like gobs of conditioner in it, just trying to bring it back to life. And good news, it's feeling like hair again.
Nice.
It is feeling like hair again. And I've gotten to the point where like
I couldn't wait to see it. I love you. I love
I
you.
can't even see myself in it.
And your roots, like the roots grew in a little too. It looks
the
amazing.
roots grew in a little. Yeah, we did a little shadow root and the roots grew in. So no, it's fun. I'm excited. I'm excited now to have it healthy and be able to play with it.
I love it on you.
I'm so excited. So, I mean, so much has happened since, I mean, honestly, so much has happened. I feel like we got back from New Year's and next thing you know, before we were even in like the rhythm of the new year, these God blessed fires hit. Well, first we had the drones. That was weird. And then we had these fires, which were so brutal. And it wasn't much more than a week ago that, well, I think I've been back for a week now, but yeah, that Wednesday I was at work and just watching these black clouds billowing in. And then I went to the grocery store and I was on my way out of the grocery store and my phone went off on the evacuation alert. Just as it did, I'm walking outside and it's like the same clouds that I saw earlier in the day at work had now made their way over and it just felt so ominous. I'm like, Jesus God, they're following me. And so it was I was home alone. Mike was in Vegas working. Anyway, it's like I've kind of been off the grid ever since that. You just kind of like shift into another mode and I'm like, sorry, but nothing else,
Right.
just really matters. It's been so heavy around here. So many people have lost so much. It's just been brutal. But when I decided to drive up to the Bay to evacuate, Taylor's obviously here in LA, but she drove to Garrett's house, to my ex's, to her dad's house in the desert. So I knew she was safe. And as soon as I started driving out of town, I was like, God, I'm just so glad that she was out of here because once you decide to go, it's almost like my mind started almost playing tricks with me. And I was trying to keep myself so calm, but suddenly you start envisioning those doomsday movies where you see like the natural disaster coming and everybody's just going about their business thinking, no big deal, everything's fine. And then suddenly you're sitting in the audience going, get out of there, stupid, get out of there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I just didn't want to be like stuck at the gas station fighting for a pump. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And then, stuck on like the 5 getting out of town and there were freaking fires popping out all over the fucking place. I know there's not going to be a fire over there. The 5 gets shut down. And then we're all in this captive LA basin.
Yeah.
So I was and when I left at like 7 o'clock at night and I was so fucking tired, I'd worked all day. It was so emotionally exhausted just from all the uncertainty that I was terrified to drive. I don't like driving at night for one, let alone starting at 7 in that there's on down the 5 for 6 hours all the way to Morgan Hill. No, thank you.
Totally. Yeah. And you had Albie with you.
I had Albie with me. Yeah, he was my little road dog. But I talked to Carla for like 2 of the hours on the way up. I was like, do you know that for the first time I did that drive up to the Bay, I didn't listen to a single song. I
Wow.
listened to no music because I was just so intent on staying awake so I didn't fall asleep because I knew how tired I was. So I kept someone on the phone with me every second. I would have had you on the phone with me, but you were in Pismo having
Yeah.
kind of fun. And so anyway, I kept Carla on the phone for like forever.
Yeah.
Kept me alive. And then, it's funny, I was thinking about Carla when I was thinking about this. And, isn't it funny that I have you, Michelle, Carla, 4 out of my 5 friends that I talk to the most are friends that I've had since 3rd grade.
I know. I say it.
Is that insane?
We are so lucky and we're so blessed
It's really blew my mind.
because it's a different connection. We become family now, it's a different friendship.
Speaking of one of those girls, today is Bridget's birthday.
Oh.
So happy birthday to our Bridge.
And boogie with you.
Exactly. Anyway, it was, I got to say, going up there, it was as tragic as it was for everyone. It was so nice to be up there. I got to spend such quality time with my nephews that I was after spending this time with them, it just felt different than like Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, because when I spent time with the boys around the holidays, there's all that like
everyone's there.
Yeah, and there's all that frantic holiday energy. So I just got some like 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, just the most incredible time with the kids.
Yeah.
So I was so pumped about it. How was Pismo?
We were in Avila.
Oh, Avila, right. It's close. Yes, remember I told you to go down to that thing and you sent me the picture.
Oh, you're right. I did. Yes, under the pier.
What did you think of it?
It was amazing.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah, we were the only ones under there. Yeah, so you told me to walk on the pier, and then there's these stairs that go down, and then there's a floating underneath,
a floating dock.
Yeah, under the pier.
Literally, right? Your feet are just inches from the water.
I know.
And if there was a little shark swimming by, you would fully see it.
Exactly.
No, I want to spend every time I drive by it, I think, oh, I really should be stopping because, I'm such a shark enthusiast. And also that's a very sharky area, Avila Beach. I mean, it's a very sharky area. So, they're there.
Yeah, which is even better. But yeah, it's a little sleepy town. I loved it.
I love a sleepy town.
Yeah, there was a swing set on the beach.
Yes, I've been to that. I love that little swing set. It's a fun little place to go.
And so close for us.
So close for us. So we have a new president officially.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Trump reloaded.
Trump reloaded.
I know. Do you know that Trump said while all that drone stuff was happening, he said that on his second day in office, he was going to give everybody the full balls to the wall lowdown on the deal, on what those are. Like a full-blown report on what they are.
That's good.
So anyway, and then yesterday when he did his first press conference, someone held him to it. They're like, so you said that you were going to give us the lowdown on the drones. What's the story? And he's like, I've only been here for 15 minutes. I don't even have it yet. That's when he was signing all those things with his crazy signature that I think
with a marker also. I thought, what are you doing with a marker?
Making a statement.
Yeah.
Speaking of statements, what about Melania's hat?
The hamburger.
I'm telling you something. I was on my way out to work when I saw it just starting yesterday morning, and I saw her in the hat, and I was almost willing to be late to work. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I mean, it's like she's playing the part of like a Russian spy or something. She's so beautiful, and I don't want to sound trite, but she just always looks so stealthy.
I know.
Stealthy.
Beautiful.
Like,
but I was
Russian spy.
For sure.
Donald also said he was gonna, handle the TikTok ban. And I mean, we can see that TikTok was
14 hours, was it gone?
How do you spend time on TikTok?
I did a few months ago, but I accidentally clicked on people gluing beans to their body and pretending they were ticks.
Okay. Okay.
I,
Stop it.
I
Stop it.
look
It's
at textures. I thought I had to go to therapy to get over it. I got rid of it, but it is on my phone. But no, I'm an Instagram only.
I need to explain something to you. What you're talking about is so upsetting to my soul.
I know.
I can't even take it. Are you just hearing you say that? Grosses me out on such a level. I can feel it like on a cellular level. I hate that shit.
I know. And my whole
What
algorithm.
is wrong with I feel like there's a lot of us that just are completely
It
allergic.
was called something because I Googled it and I couldn't look at textures of anything.
It's horrible.
It's
Do
a
you do you know when it started affecting me as a kid? And it's just a little bit different, but I remember when we were kids and we would drive down the 101 and I would look at the beautiful hills, the foothills, and they would have trees on them, but I would think that they look like fungus. And I didn't like, they looked like ticks to me on like if the mountain was the
right.
dog,
Yeah. And
and the trees were the ticks.
right.
And it used to sick me out. Still to this day, when I drive by, I have to like talk myself out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So no TikTok for me.
Yeah. Well, it's back just in case, you ever
Yeah, I knew that.
want to try some exposure therapy and go watch some more.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's so weird though that they even like, I really think that maybe they're getting a lesson like our politicians that wanted to ban it. Because I think that they thought that maybe everyone would go running back to Meta and Instagram, you know what I mean? As like in some big reversal, but they are not. Everyone was downloading that Red Note or whatever because that other Chinese thing. And it's like I heard somebody say, this guy goes, who cares if China knows that I like that thick Latino women? And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a lot more than that, but I don't know. That's a whole
Well, I mean, they're farming our information. I mean, so does Meta. They farm our information too. So, I mean, I don't know, but if Trump can figure out a way to let us keep it that is everyone's comfortable with, I'm here for it. Because there's a lot of people in the current climate where everyone is so desperate for a dollar. There are so many creators on there
my son included, my son.
Yeah, that really genuinely make a living. And if they're not, I mean, they're paying for their groceries with it. They're paying for their health care. And if suddenly they don't have that income, then their quality of life starts diminishing. And it's really just a shame when, I mean, you go to the grocery store these days and you used to be able to get a basket of food for $100 and now, or, a full cart. And now you can't get a hand basket for like $100. It's crazy.
Exactly. So I was so far behind on all of the shows because of holidays and they didn't even give us the shows.
Right.
But Traitors started, which was thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. I'm telling you, I was so excited.
So excited. I came home and they're always so good. They give us 3 in the beginning to binge.
Which isn't that great? Because it's smart of them because they want to hook you. It's not just a little. I mean, they want to like really fully hook you. And I gotta say, well, you know which episode really because then I didn't watch it until it's time for the 4th episode to be dropped.
Ooh.
So I got 4. I literally when I watched it, I had 4 episodes. I was like a week late.
It's amazing.
Who are you fully into?
I love Carolyn, the blonde, the traitor. She is
with the neck and the hair and the eyes and she's just everywhere.
She's good.
I can't get enough of her. She is prime
so
time.
She's our number 1.
She is great.
Yeah.
Are you caught up on 4? Did you watch?
I am. This last episode was wow.
Wild.
Wow.
Right? Wild.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I like Zac Efron's little brother too.
I think he is a really sweet kid.
totally sweet.
I really did. I also think I also really like Bob Harper. It might be because I've had a couple sweet interactions with him, but he's just a sweet guy. And I feel like he's playing that like it's like his real, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Really his real self.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love, do we talk about what happened? Does it matter? Is this like spoiler alert?
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, but I love the fact that what's that guy? Who's the guy that they brought in? Johnny?
Survivor. Yeah.
The Survivor guy.
Yeah,
I don't know any of those Survivor people because I mean I haven't watched Survivor since 2003.
I knew him, and then Wes was just on House of Villains, the bearded guy.
Right.
So I know him from House of Villains, and I know Derek from Big Brother.
Oh, see, I've never watched a single episode of Big Brother either. I haven't.
What? Wow.
Okay. I really never have.
Okay, but yeah, I don't watch Survivor. I mean, there's stuff I don't watch either, but yeah, it's really good. And that guy, whatever
what is his name?
I know, I can see his head.
Survivor guy, the way that he came in there. But then did you see just at the end, someone said, well, who else? That other good guy.
Yes.
Who else would know that he was definitely a traitor, but another traitor?
I know. Yeah, I can't wait.
Oh, I mean, it would only make sense. I mean, it seems like an easy prediction.
Yeah.
But who knows? You never know what's up. I mean,
you can't. You don't.
Somebody could get immunity. I mean, whatever. There's just.
You can't plan it.
What about the fact that Dorinda got sent home so soon?
Bummer. That was a bummer. We needed drunk Dorinda to make it nice.
I was really looking forward to drunk Dorinda.
She's on a lot
of combative Dorinda, because you know that she is.
Oh, she'll go at it. She's been on all these. She's on Jimmy Kimmel. She's on all these talk shows right now.
Well, and think about it, because she's promoting Traitors, but when she was going on to Traitors, she hadn't been on anything in a long ass time. So
no.
She was ready, geared up, ready to go and like show her, strut her Dorinda stuff, and then boom, bye, girl.
I know. That was a bummer.
It really was a bummer. She was the first to leave, right?
First to leave. And then they tried to make it look like they did. The second one was another housewife.
Chanel Ion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
and Robin and the Roots. Why didn't she do her hair? Her roots are great.
I swear to God, I literally grabbed my glasses.
I said, wait a minute.
What I was looking at was what I was looking at.
Yeah, you're coming on with an.
How does that happen?
3/4 gray roots. Hey, Robin.
I mean, I know that was truthfully a mind blower. So, I mean, it's on again in a couple days, but I mean, how long does that show last?
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't they sometimes knock more than one person off a week?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of players still.
Yeah, because they just added 3 more. But yeah, I feel like maybe till March-ish, right? I don't know.
What do you think about Tom Sandoval?
Oh, Tom Sandoval.
He's trying so hard.
And he was just coming fresh off of Sandoval when he went into that.
Poor guy. He looks like he's still has PTSD. Did you see him with the eyes?
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear that Andy Cohen wants Lisa Vanderpump back on Beverly Hills?
Oh.
Wouldn't that be epic?
It would, but I doubt that it would happen.
I kind of doubt it would happen too, except that she might. What if she did it to promote this whole new Vanderpump Rules Part 2 that they're getting ready to do?
I don't think so.
I would love it.
I know. I
feel like it's been long enough that she could just dip her toe back.
Yeah, but she knows what she'd be dipping it into. So
oh, I know she does know.
It's not enough.
Speaking of Beverly Hills Queens, our girl Erica Jane just opened again on Broadway last night, reprising her role as Roxy Hart. I could not be more pumped for that little angel, because her first run got so
COVID, right?
Hijacked by COVID. Yes. And I mean, honestly, I just feel like Erica was born to play Roxy Hart.
For sure. She's a
She really
performer
does.
through and through.
I saw a picture that Teddy posted of her taking her bows, and I'm telling you, made me emotional. I got all choked up.
Yeah.
I saw on Watch What Happens Live that Andy asked Erica if Ariana Maddox, who played the role just recently, right, in back-to-back runs, if she had reached out to her, and the answer was a resounding no.
Yeah, I saw that episode.
So whatever. Also, since we've been gone, Dolores came back and said, Dolores came out and said that she's disappointed in the cast and the fact that they've all, did you hear that? That they've gotten her, you know, them all into this situation. And Teresa on her podcast responded, well, I know she's not talking about me. I feel like every now and then I just have to like remind the world that it is Teresa that created this climate. It was Melissa tried so hard for so long. And I mean, she only got to that point after, do you remember on that reunion where Teresa looked at her and said, well, you're going to be gone. And like assuming that like she had that power to wield and was going to send her packing.
Right.
And then it was, and then when she said, well, if I'm not gone, then what? And she says, well, then I just won't engage with you. And so at that point, what was Melissa supposed to do? What's a girl supposed to do? Just,
Yeah.
I mean, grovel.
Yeah. No, Teresa.
So anyway.
And what about
important to remind everybody, because everybody likes to say, oh, everything was great, or, you know, this all happened because of the fact that Melissa blindsided Teresa when she came on the show. No, everybody, Teresa was talking mad shit about her sister-in-law long before we even saw Melissa's face. She talked such mad shit to her cast members in the first couple years that Caroline Manzo has come out and said, I hated Melissa's guts just from everything that I'd heard from Teresa. I mean, so much so that she said that she felt like she needed to apologize when she finally met Melissa and realized that she wasn't the monster that Teresa made her out to be.
Yeah. Such a waste.
Such a waste. So sad.
Yeah.
Speaking of sad, did you hear that about the Grand Dame over in Potomac?
So I saw the drunk arrest
video. The drunk arrest video, which was insane, right?
Yeah.
Fully insane. And then they filmed the reunion and she didn't show to the reunion. And she made a statement. They came out and explained that the reason why she wasn't at the reunion was because she went to rehab. So everyone's thinking, oh, well, you know, at least she's taking care of herself, right?
Yeah, she doesn't want to hear it in the reunion, yes?
Absolutely, yes. And guess what? She doesn't want to hear it at any time, because after that, then she officially just a few days ago came out and announced her departure from the Real Housewives of Potomac.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right.
Wow, yeah, that's okay.
And I wish I thought I did have her statement, because the Grand Dame released the most out of touch statement. I mean, it was hideous. God, I'm so pissed I don't have it. Anyway, we're also saying goodbye to Brynn, which I know you haven't been into New York.
Oh yeah, I have 5 that I haven't even watched.
Yeah, so but you know who Brynn is.
Yeah, of course I know who Brynn is.
Yes, Brynn. Yeah. I'll date your dad.
I'll date your dad.
Yeah. We no longer have a standing date with Brynn because Brynn has left the building.
Right. I think she did it so she wouldn't be fired. She left on her own.
Because something major happened after that Puerto Rico trip.
Yeah, I think it's tonight is there's some grand finale that Andy said is very good. But you know, he could say that, and
I know. You know who else we need to talk about? Over on Southern Charm. Did you hear Vanita? Vanita was on a podcast. I can't remember which one. And she was talking about the fact that she was supposed to go out to lunch with that little leprechaun and JT, yeah, your boy JT and his mom. And then he liked her, never showed, and then suddenly turned up with some other chick on Instagram.
Yeah, they were dating.
They were like full-blown dating.
I know.
And he disliked her, fully dissed her. I mean, what? Sorry, as far as I'm concerned, Vanita is so far out of his league.
Of big time.
Oh, disgusting.
And you know what I saw last night is the new girl named Sally.
Yes,
she was on The Bachelor.
I read that.
And she came to The Bachelor and she said, I was supposed to be married yesterday. She had a broken engagement and
that's right. I heard that she was engaged and broke it off like right before because she found out that he was screwing around or something.
Yeah. So she was on The Bachelor and just as cute as ever.
Yeah, she does major stuff. She runs the robot arms that in back surgery and stuff.
Yeah. People aren't liking Southern Charm. They're liking Southern Hospitality better. They're saying Southern Charm is a bore this season. And I could say it kind of is.
Well, I actually really like Southern Hospitality too. I think that show has legs. I think it's really good. And I think it's just warming up.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in years.
You know who else I heard about just this morning? That Mike Shoehead or whatever the hell. Yeah. You remember the guy from Jaws of Sunset? Did you hear about this shady shit he's doing now?
Yeah, he's a dirty pig.
What a fucking swindler, right? I mean, I've never had a good vibe from that guy. Never once. Even more so when he's trying to talk as if he's had some personal evolution.
Right. Right.
So fake. It's like he's reading from a script.
Yeah. So what? He's upping the rent
from $10,500 to $16,500. It got listed. The same house. This house was listed for $10,500 in the beginning of November. And then he took it off the market and like days after the fires, put it back up for $16,500.
Yeah, he's a pig.
An absolute pig.
Yeah, he's always been. He's a swindler.
Total swindler. Did you watch SNL by chance this weekend?
No, but I heard that Dave Chappelle
killed it.
Recorded.
So I just have to tell you, firstly, I love Dave Chappelle for a million reasons, but he sent a direct message to Trump and said, remember, whether people voted for you or not, they're all counting on you. Whether they like you or not, they're all counting on you. The whole world is counting on you. And I mean this when I say this. Good luck. Please do better next time. Please, all of us, do better next time. Do not forget your humanity, and please have empathy for displaced people, whether they're in the Palisades or in Palestine. I mean, it was just so, I know it makes me emotional. It was so beautiful.
Wow.
So beautiful. You know what else was so beautiful? Speaking of SNL, you should watch this. There's a 50th anniversary special that they did, and it's all about the making of SNL, and it is so beautiful. And I love SNL. And I almost have this weird attachment to it. Like every year when there's a new season, when it's a new season, I'm like, oh, it's almost like my new year. I'm like, oh, we got a whole new season of SNL. And I feel just so lucky that I get to usher in a whole new season of SNL. But they go back in this special and they show so many cast members their first audition tapes.
Yeah.
Like they've never seen them. So it's like they're looking at their baby selves and they all have the most like visceral, just sweet, sometimes complicated relationship with what they're looking at. It was so special.
Friends that have passed.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. I'll tell
stories about how they got on the show and how many times they got called back. And the behind the scenes stories were amazing.
I love that. I'll watch it.
Anyway, okay, you ready for some Beverly Hills, Boo?
Yes.
So the show starts out at the Viper Room.
Oh, yeah.
The infamous Viper Room. Can I just tell you real quickly a story about the Viper Room? My cousin played the Viper Room, I would say probably 15 years ago. He was in a somewhat successful band and they were at the Viper Room, and he tells my grandpa, who we called Gompy, to come watch him. Now, at this point, my Gompy is like basically in a wheelchair. He's probably 94 years old at this point. he made it to like almost 100. So, but he was really old at this point, right? But my cousin's like, Gompy, come down. There's beautiful women everywhere. You'll love it. Da, da, da. And so he went. So he went. And did you know that he did not come home for 3 days because he had some kind of a mild heart attack during the, I swear to God, because the doctor said he got so excited and yeah, that's every, I can't hear anything about the Viper Room without thinking that it almost killed my grandpa.
I saw Anthony Kiedis there wearing this old-timey airplane pilot hat.
Oh my God, and that's hilarious. And you love, that's your band, right? You love
Hot Chili Peppers.
I can't listen to 3 notes of any of their shit. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Allergic. Anyway, the girls are sitting down. It's Erica's event, and they're going at each other's throat. Dorit and Kyle still. I mean, about these fucking text messages. I mean, and thank God, eventually they got separated, and Erica took Dorit outside. Thank God, because I mean, who knows where it was going to go.
Right, and then Kyle says once Dorit leaves, Kyle talks to what's her name, Bose, and she say, you know, you don't understand my side. We were good friends, but yet you said in the very beginning of the episode to Dorit, we weren't that good of friends.
Right. And did you hear Bose's response? She was like, well, you know, the way I love I love the Bose of it all. And the way she delivers it is so disarming to them. She goes, well, you know, isn't it true that, I mean, sometimes you feel a certain way about something and then circumstances change and you feel differently. And everyone was just like, God, yeah. They're like, yeah, I guess that does happen.
Truth.
So hilarious. And then the next day, Kyle, Garcelle, and Sutton all head over to Sutton's house so that they can rehash all the venom that was thrown around the night before and take a tennis lesson.
Garcelle got out of that.
Smart. Totally smart. Then Garcelle likens her divorce to Dorit's divorce because there was just so much anger. But then she draws a distinction about how Kyle's was different because there was, you know, hers had what do you call it? Adultery. And then Sutton speaks up and goes, well, I mean, you had adultery in your marriage. And did you see Kyle? Huh?
Kyle is like daggers to her eyes. Like, what are you doing?
Did you see it? Just the instant, like you could hear the screaming in Kyle's head, looking at Sutton like, what the fuck are you saying now?
Yeah.
I know. She says, let's not forget that part, Kyle. And I was just thinking, go Sutton, go. I mean,
Sutton is right.
Kyle goes, what part? She says, infidelity. Who did?
Mauricio.
You did. With Mo.
Yeah.
He goes, you talked about it. And then did you see, then they flashed back and proved and showed all the evidence where she was really kind of spewing a lot about the truth regarding her marriage. And then Garcelle to camera says, this is the shit that nobody talks about.
Yeah, I love Garcelle.
And I think Kyle really does play a bit of a producer part on that show.
100%.
So much so that I think there's an imbalance of power where people are afraid to bring up the raw truth about Kyle because of how it may negatively impact their standing on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Then we're at HD Buttercup, which is such a fun store. Erica's meeting Martin Ballard there. Dorit joins them for the fun. And then once Martin walks away, those two sit down to get into all the juicy parts. And Erica says she's super excited to be where she's at because, I mean, she is finally like through the hard part and she's ready to start thriving because she's fucking tired of just surviving. And God, do I get that?
Yeah.
Dorit tells Erica that Kyle's reaction about the PK situation just seemed so secretive and it makes her feel like she can't trust Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Dorit says if the tables were turned, Kyle would be having basically an absolute conniption. And
we all know that's true.
100% true. Then Bose gets her fibroids removed. And on her way, her and her man have a talk about having kids, which is something they clearly both want. And Bose is worried that these fibroids might have some impact on her fertility. So that's an issue. but everything went well. And she was hardly even like home for what, fucking 30 minutes before Kyle comes.
Kyle,
So she could start pleading her case about what went down. I mean, at the party. That felt so like, really? I mean, you can't give this girl the rest of the day to recover?
I know. I thought the same thing. And did you see what she said about her? She goes, "Oh, you got," or Bo says, "Thank you for the flowers." And she says, "Oh, they're right next to Dorit's." And she says, "Mine look better."
I know.
Idiot.
I mean, welcome to Pettyland, USA.
Right?
So Kyle starts talking and pleads her case about this whole texting debacle with PK and why she thinks Dorit is off her rocker for trying to make something out of it. Kyle goes, "I'm not going to pull my phone out to prove a point." And Bose goes, "Well, that's exactly what she's expecting you to do." And then she goes, "Woo!" Did you see the way Bose does this? Woo! The thing.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I go, she'll woo. Like, it's like her, like that was something, boys. Woo.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I cannot, yeah. Woo. Like, here we go. Woo, they were going somewhere with this. I love her.
Yeah. Feel me?
So fun.
Yeah.
Then it's time for Erica's surprise pizza party. The girls finally, I think, got the hint that Erica was hurt by her lack of, you know,
Celebrate.
support.
Yeah.
So, so they take her,
Blindfold.
Erica says, I didn't get a pizza party. I was just met with overwhelming judgment. And she wasn't wrong.
Right.
But that's more of like everybody showing up more for Kyle because Kyle carries more weight.
Mm-hmm.
So the ladies all head over to Erica's, who thinks that she's going to dinner with only Kyle. So she's fully surprised when she sees the other two. They put a blindfold on her and head over into the valley where I am and where Chuck E. Cheese is, because there's not a Chuck E. Cheese in Beverly Hills. Sorry. Erica's hoping they're heading to Vegas, but she's still happy when she sees the final destination. They eat pizza, they play games, and then, you know, and then they have another juicy chat.
Yeah.
They get the Kyle and Mo of it all. And at some point, Garcelle turns to Kyle and says, "Kyle, do whatever you want to do. Be whoever you want to be. If you want to be a lesbian, be a lesbian." And did you see the girls were all like, even Erica was like,
right.
Then Erica tells the girls that she actually talked to Dorit about those text messages and the whole PK of it all. And she tells them that Dorit was just, or she tells Kyle really, that Dorit was just hoping that you would understand, given the fact that circumstances have changed and, you know, she'd just like a heads up. Kyle says, "I think the fact that she's trying to make this something more than it is ridiculous and gross. And I'm not going to get to the point where I'm pulling out my phone because I'm an adult and it's a fucking joke. But I'm going to do this once." She goes, "I'm going to do this once for you guys." And she picks up the phone and she starts going, "Okay, this is ridiculous, but I'm doing this once and only once." And then she reads, "I know you have a lot of friends, but I'm also one. And here if you need me. I have never repeated anything that you've shared with me and never would."
Dirty, dirty. That's not just memes, Kyle.
Did she forget that that was in there? Like, I think in her head, she must have been panicking as the words were coming out of her mouth. Yeah. Like realizing what she's saying. Like maybe that's not exactly how she remembered it. Maybe she thought it was a lot more innocuous and innocent. But I'm sorry, I've never said anything that you've ever told me.
Right.
I thought the only thing he's told you was stuff that you wouldn't have a problem repeating because it was all just jokes and memes and
exactly.
Right?
You know, she threw herself under the bus.
I mean, did you see everyone was like, doo-doo. So then it's the next day and we're back at Bose's house. Garcelle comes to visit and she brings food. They sit down and before they can even get into the gossip, Garcelle says to Bose, "Dorit is an embryo up your coochie." And Bose can't believe it. She goes, "I just find this all so strange. I mean, I like Dorit." And then she looks at Garcelle kind of like, and like, "Why don't you? Like, what's your fucking problem?" You know what I mean?
Right.
And Garcelle, it was funny because Garcelle got put on the spot and I don't think she really knew what to say. And she goes, "Well, number one, she
talks a lot."
Yeah, she talks a lot. And then she goes, and it's like we take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back.
Which is true.
And then she goes on to say, but I think it's different with Kyle and Dorit because they have a more shared history. And Garcelle says, and you know, last night, Kyle read the text. And Bo says, what? She says, yeah, she read the text. And I'm paraphrasing, but the part that really stood out to me was, I won't say anything. I never have. And Bo's, I mean, it spun her skull.
Mm-hmm.
Spun her skull.
Did Kyle also show the picture of when Maurizio and PK and...
Yes, she did. She showed it when she went to Bo's house that day to plead her case, when she was like, I don't make a deal about memes. Like, I don't make a big deal. She goes, this meme, and she pulled up her phone. She goes, this meme caused a huge bunch of problems on the internet. This meme right here, like, so
and it was Dorit kissing Mo.
Right, but it was like, it was, you know, it was nothing. It was, she was hugging Dorit or she was hugging PK and Mo. It was, I remember the exact scene.
Me too.
Through the door, do you remember? And they all group hug. And I think, and she was just like kissing whoever was in front of her. I don't think it was right. Like,
that's when it blew up that they were.
But that is when it blew up.
That they're having an affair, which Kyle knew wasn't true.
Right. But now she's trying, like, she didn't make a fuss about it then. Like,
no.
Trying to bring it out as hard evidence now that, like, there's some precedent set.
Right.
Weird. And then so after she says that, they flash back again to a bunch of scenes where Kyle said that text relationship with PK was just jokes and memes. And then the camera goes back to Bose and she goes, so she lied.
Yeah.
So she lied. I love the Bose of it all.
Me too.
Best edition that I think any show has had in a long time.
Yeah.
Speaking of editions, we have those new girls over in Salt Lake City, and that finale, sweetie, was also, I have a theory. I have a real theory that I am convinced that there is something awry, not awry, but more suspicious with Heather Gay. Now, I just want you to, before we go into this show, I just want you to think back on 2 finales ago when you had Heather and the Black Eye, and then the previous finale when you had, not the previous, but the one we had last year where they were
Monica.
Timelines, text message, that whole thing, that whole drama on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have the Black Eye, and then you have on the beach, the big famous scene, and then you have
the burn book.
What happens on this episode. So the final episode is, I mean, the shit hits all the fans. They're all still in Puerto Vallarta. The women wake up to Meredith with the California. What was that beaver tail over her head? It was like a beaver tail, right? I'm like, what in God's name is happening?
I love Meredith. She is so dramatic. She is so fucking dramatic.
It's unbelievable. It's
amazing.
It's amazing. She's like, it's a commitment. She makes a commitment, right? I mean, like, I'm just going to go out there and act a dramatic fool. I have a scratched cornea.
Yeah.
And Heather's like, I don't understand. Like, what's your problem? Why'd you come at me so hard last night? You ruined my whole, fun game. And she's like, I know I did. That's why I'm apologizing for my behavior this morning.
Right.
With that fucking thing over her eye.
Mask. It was an eye mask, a sleeping mask.
Yeah, it was. But honestly, it looked like a beaver tail to me. Then Rudy the butler walks up and asks Heather if she would like a coffee. And Heather says, I would love a little capoo. And I just had to laugh because capoo is what my mom calls her cooch. Not necessarily like the whole cooch, but like in Brazil, there's a term, the capô de fusca. And that means the head of the Volkswagen, which is like the top of your cooch.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, and my mother always talks about losing weight in her kapoo. I need to lose weight in my kapoo.
This is amazing.
And when she said, yeah, I'd like a little kapoo, I was like, so would my mom.
So good.
Yeah, that's another, that's a Brazilian term for the cooch pooch.
Oh my God.
So funny.
Thank you for that.
Then all the women meet up to start the day, and everyone is dressed as
Lisa Barlow. It's
baby gorgeous. Is that what they all call her? Where did the baby gorgeous thing come from? I can't remember.
Did she name herself that?
I can't remember.
I feel like she named herself this.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So yeah, they're all dressed like Lisa, and Lisa loved it. I mean, my God, she loved it. They all go to lunch, and when they get there, Heather once again takes the helm and thanks everyone for participating in the Lisa Barlow tribute lunch, and announces to Lisa that now they're all going to do their best Lisa Barlow impressions. And Lisa thinks everybody slays it, right? Except
Whitney.
Whitney, exactly. She's not happy with Whitney.
Ever.
Whitney, who said, like Lisa, that she kept her tags on her clothes because she might have to return it after the trip.
Right.
Whitney is just leaning head first into the Lisa of it all and tells her, well, you know, it's been rumored for years that you wear your clothes and return them. Firstly, that voice of hers, the delivery is always more than I can take.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, Lisa is fucking pissed. Lisa cannot believe what she is hearing, seeing. And then the two of them go head to head. I mean, like I mean, they've been going head to head, and it's just more of the same. Whitney tells Lisa what she really thinks of her. And Lisa says, well, your gut is off. It's leaking. Take a probiotic.
No.
Which I gotta say, I mean, that was a fucking hilarious line.
I know.
And then she starts to get really heated. She goes, take that wig off. Take that fucking wig off, because you'll never be me. And now it's getting like crazy heated.
People are plugging their ears at
Yeah,
tables.
did you see that guy? He's covering his kids' ears.
Yeah.
And honestly, they were like they were gonna get scrappy too. I mean, Lisa jumped up and reached for Whitney. Then that wacko jacko Brittany pipes up.
Oh.
Wacko City, I'm sorry. And she goes, Lisa, I haven't even known you that long, but since I've known you, you've been the most loyal person. Like, to me, Whitney, this makes no sense. And Mary looks right at her and goes, Brittany, I don't know why you're chiming in on anything.
Yeah.
You recorded this whole group. And just because everyone's a little tipsy right now and forgot doesn't mean that I did, because I didn't.
Yeah. Love the Mary.
Right? Because did you see that? Did you see the last episode where she was secretly filming them? That was fucking weird.
She was really secretly filming and denied it.
Yeah. And then that dingling goes, are you serious? I'm so pissed at everyone about that, actually. And everyone's like, wait, she's pissed at us?
You did it.
Yeah. Meredith goes, you're pissed at us because you recorded us? And she says, no, I'm pissed at you guys because you all do the same thing as me. Mary was recording out the window. And she goes, girl, shut up.
There's no proof.
Yeah. I mean, she's pulling shit out of her ass.
Exactly. They would have shut it too if Mary was doing it.
100%. Brittany says, you all have been torturing me. You called me vile and vicious. And Meredith says, well, those were my feelings. And she goes, I know. So you know what else? You know what, Meredith? I just want you to know that I will never, ever recover from that. I will never. And Meredith comes back with, well, how do I know I'm ever going to recover from what you said?
Right.
And I loved it. And Brittany was just full on confused, jaw on the floor. I mean, she fully confused.
She's playing in the big leagues.
And she doesn't belong there.
No.
So she says, well, it's obvious that I don't have any friends here. And then she gets up to walk away. And Mary goes, let that girl go.
Yep.
She is so serious.
Yeah.
And then, but she doesn't, because Angie runs after her and Lisa runs after her and Heather runs after her.
Right.
And they go to, you know, try to console her a little bit. Then the girls break into two groups. Bronwyn, Mary, Meredith, and Lisa go horseback riding with feisty fucking horses. Did you see those little
Oh
shits?
my God. I would have
I
said
know. They were not cooperative.
no.
And I think Meredith was right. She goes, each of these horses kind of feel like our personality, and they kind of did.
For sure.
That horse that Meredith had, it was just like not just fucking stubborn, not going in here. And Mary was fully stressed about it. She goes, listen, at this age, you don't ride a horse that's acting crazy, because if that horse goes down and you go down with it, it's bad. I mean, arthritis sets in, your bones heal wrong, you'll have an automatic limp. I mean, from here on out, you'll be limping. And then she goes, you'll definitely be a defect. If you ride a horse that goes down, you'll definitely be a defect. And then she can't understand why Meredith's on a horse at all. Because if you have a hearing problem, you just shouldn't be on a horse. There's just certain things you shouldn't do. That's just life.
Right.
I honestly, she's hilarious. It's like Mary logic. Mary has her own logic. It's Mary logic.
The greatest in her.
It is funny. So after a short ride, the ladies all hop off their horses to put their feet in the water. And while they're doing it, Mary says, Lisa, I think I'm done with Angie. Lisa questions why, and Mary explains that Brittany has been coming for her in a whole bunch of different ways. And the fact that Angie just went off and ran after her makes her feel like she doesn't have her back, right?
Right.
She says she's super bothered by it, and Angie needs to pick a side. Mary says, I don't bond with people quickly or tell them my business. But when I do, I have to trust you completely. And if I feel betrayal, I will unmemorize your existence. I am able to do that.
And I believe she can.
I believe she can too. The other ladies are over making ceviche, which is mostly uneventful, except for the fact that we learned that Dingling Angie thinks that chicharrones are boobies.
Right.
Like a fourth grade boy. Then it's the ladies' final night, and they all reunite for dinner at a theme park. They share a toast. And then Meredith and Angie officially make up and become friends again. They say they're both ready to move past it. Well, good for them. Then the food arrives, and Angie very innocently asks Mary if she'd like a piece of her pepperoni pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And she, gives her a little bit of the silent treatment. Angie says, hey, is everything all right?
Right.
And then we learned from Mary that indeed it is not. And then we saw between them something that you really never see. Housewives actually being vulnerable with each other and like expressing true heartfelt feelings.
For sure. It made me cry. I loved it.
I know. Wasn't it so touching?
Yeah.
And it was so sweet for them to like admit those insecure feelings and then to reassure each other and to understand that they were, it's kind of like, it goes back to what I say all the time about, it's like staying rooted in love. So you don't let your insecurities take you off into la la land where you're assuming the worst of everybody.
Exactly.
So that was super cute. And it was so sweet the way all the other women received it too.
Everyone was quiet and just watched and let it.
Yeah, they were so respectful. I thought it was so sweet.
Yeah.
Then Meredith goes in on Whitney about her interactions with that blogger that they always talk about, the one that's at the center of the whole Alibaba storyline. And Lisa pipes up and says, yeah, Whitney, I don't talk to bloggers. And Whitney says, yes, you do. You fed stories to reality Von Teese. Heather looks at her and says, who told you this shit? And Whitney says, I reached out to Monica out of desperation. And then producer Heather goes berserk. Whitney screams, you guys gave me no choice. And while they're all coming hard for Whitney, Mary says, I gotta say something, because first of all, you guys are not the friendliest people. And she kind of defends Whitney.
Yeah.
Whitney was so grateful for her.
Right.
Then Heather tells them that bloggers shouldn't even have access to you guys. And they're all going at each other's necks when Heather steps up and says, look at us, just look at us. Every day we have to put on our armor to face things the world is going to say about us, to be accountable for the things we do and the people we are. And we are judged by what we do. We're judged publicly and we're judged privately, but we understand it. So we should support each other. We should understand that it hurts when someone calls us bad mothers, that it hurts when someone attacks our business. It hurts when someone says that we're ugly. These are the things that we have to fight in the world. We shouldn't have to fight it at this table. We made fun of Monica for having a burn book, but we all have our own burn books. But our burn books aren't a curated fucking copy of Mean Girls. They're in our phones. And none of us are without fault. We have all said horrible, hurtful things about each other when we should have been honoring and celebrating and keeping this space sacred and private, right? They're all in our phones. Now, and this is the point where it all just starts coming so clear. And then she says, but all I've heard tonight is, I want to prove you a bad friend. I want to prove you a bad friend. And I want to prove you a bad friend. We thought we got rid of that problem last year, but we didn't. And I think tonight we're going to solve it. Tonight we're going to solve it, right? I think we should take our phones, go through our text messages, find the worst thing we've said about someone at this table, finale, and we're going to hand the thing over to the person they said it about, and they're going to read it out loud to the group. And then we burn it and move on. I mean, come on.
I know. I mean, really?
I mean, ridiculous.
Really?
And at this point, it is very clear to me that they were all given this assignment long before they all got to dinner.
Exactly.
Right? Because you heard the way they all read those things, and they were not just rando messages that they found.
Right.
No.
On the dime.
Yeah. So, even let's face it, even with them not being text messages, these are still things that people are writing. So it is going to elicit some strong reactions, right? So basically they told the girls, go write something, go write the worst thing, or go find the worst thing, or write the worst thing that you've ever thought or said about someone on this cast. Because,
yeah.
Right? I mean, if you are not, Heather is not just moving the storyline forward, but she is creating the storyline. Much in the same way that she did last season and the season before this. It's like she is the production company's go-to girl with how to facilitate the big.
Make it happen.
Yes, exactly. Then it was Brittany's turn, and she says, okay, I wrote something about Mary. Just furthering the point that it was a writing prompt. She wrote something about Mary. And they all read everything that they wrote to each other. Then Whitney reads what she wrote about Lisa. She hands her phone to Lisa, who starts reading. So I was at a party with Justin, and a woman approached us and said that if we ever wanted to bring in a third, that she is our girl. In fact, Lisa and John can vouch for her because she made out with Lisa while jerking off John. And then Lisa throws the phone and says, what the fuck is this? Whitney says, listen, I don't believe it, and I'm just trying to put this behind us. And Whitney says, listen, Lisa, I could have gone after your looks.
Right. She's all, well, give it to me. What can you say about my looks?
Then Lisa looks at her and says, this is one too many times. 3 strikes and you are out. You are fucked up on a level I don't even understand. Then she turns to Angie and says, what if I said, I heard Sean does circle jerks. How does that feel? And Angie went nuts. Right. Not understanding that she was just throwing out a comparison. It was like that thing that happened with Teresa before. Then they started going at each other to the point where a producer had to come up and bear hug Angie because
and her name fell out.
It's the fucking finale.
Yeah.
Heather, good job, Heather.
Like,
this is what happens when you read the worst things, or you're creating whatever. If they read it or created it, if you're saying on national television something horrific about these friends of yours, what else are you going to get?
Exactly.
Meredith screams, there is nothing okay about any of this.
Yeah.
And then it all just makes sense. The black eye, the big dramatic reveal about Monica at the end, when we came to find out that they all kind of knew about Monica in the beginning of the year.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, does this mean in that lead up when she was doing that whole, we're not the only ones that had a burn book, if she was now kind of putting them all in the same pot as Monica because they were all kind of doing the same thing, does that mean that Monica gets a pass, a second chance? Does that mean that you can invite Monica back into the fold if you're realizing that none of you are really any better than Monica?
Wow.
Just curious.
Wow.
I'd love to have Monica back next season.
Oh, yeah.
And it only makes sense to me.
Wow.
So anyway, so I think the campaign for bringing Monica back starts now. Because it only makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Peace, love, and understanding.
Wild.
I love it. Anyway, babe, that's where we are.
I love being back with you.
I know. I love being back with you too. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, Angel Face?
Instagram, Christy May's Garage.
All right, my sweet. Well, I'm so happy to spend this time with you.
Me too. I love you.
I love you so much. I'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Big kisses. All right, everybody, that about does it for this episode of Generally Speaking. If you've been watching this on YouTube, please make sure you reach out and smash that subscribe button. If you've been listening on any of your favorite platforms, please make sure you give us a follow, give us a 5-star rating, leave a message. Tell your friends, tell your family. We would love that. If you'd like to find me on socials, I'm on TikTok at This Is Generally Speaking or on Instagram at The Jennifer Snook. If you'd like to collaborate or have a question you'd like answered on the pod, you can reach me at jennifer@jennifersnook.com. And if you'd like to get your hands on any of this adorable Generally Speaking merch, I will leave the link down below. And before I go, I just wanted to take a minute to really echo what Dave Chappelle said, because you guys, it is incumbent that we all do better this time, regardless of what side you're on. It has never been more important to stay grounded in gratitude and rooted in love. And realize that we are so much stronger when we stand together instead of tearing each other down. So stay focused on the love, everybody, and please keep praying for everyone affected by those horrific wildfires. I will leave links in the description, and if you would like to donate to the Red Cross or to Bethenny's Be Strong, you can do that there. All right, everybody, I have loved spending this time with you. Please take care of yourselves and always remember to stay rooted in love. See you next time.